Hola chicos, I'm Christian and I'm moving to Spain. So, this time around I will talk about children, kids, whatever you want to call them, in Spain. Not what you want to call them in Spain, but whatever. Kids in Spain, that's what I'm gonna talk about today. And why? Is that strange? That very specific? And is that interesting? Oh. No. I'm burping so much. Okay, so yeah, I think actually it's quite interesting because how they treat the kids in Spain are at least very different to how we do it here in my country, in Denmark, and it never ceases to amaze me how the life of a kid is in Spain. And what I'm talking about is that Spain is a very kid-friendly country, and it's all about the kids. They get treated very well, have a good life, and mainly the main thing I discovered and that kind of shocks me is that kids can what can we say? Kids can do everything. You take your kids to everything. Everything you do, the kid do too. What I'm talking about mainly here is that kids are allowed in bars, and mainly like every kind of bar, like with alcohol, even the one that has lots of strong alcohol, kids are allowed inside. There are only a few like discos kind of bars sometimes that will only allow adults to come inside, but that's very rare. Like, there's not many discos in Spain. Most of the bars are more chill bars, and there are more like cafe-like bars in Spain than there are discos. So most bars, and nearly all of what I have seen, at least, and what I hear other people talk about, is kids friendly in some way, and kids are allowed inside. And also another thing is that these bars or cafes or whatever you want to call them, whatever it is, and so on, is often located straight in front of a playground. So you can see the playground. You can see the playground from your seating at the cafe or whatever. And that's also very nice because that means that you can actually have your kid, if it become bored, don't want to sit at the table all the time, then you can let your kid go to the playground on the opposite side of the street maybe. And the streets in these areas are often more like walking streets than they are for cars. So they are not that dangerous, you can say. So you can have your kid playing on the other side of the street at the playground and you can watch them. And the other families sitting next to you also have their kids playing there. So even though you are blinking and you're looking away, maybe, there will be other parents kind of looking at your kid anyway. So it feels very safe for kids to be around in Spain. And the thing that families can go out together is very nice in many ways. Like you can, it makes life easier in many ways. There's not so much to think about. Everything can be done, if you get what I mean. like you don't have this struggle with uh, like you and your girlfriend or boyfriend or whatever want to go out, and you are like, oh, but we have this kid, and then you're like, oh, so we can't do that, and we can't do that, or we have to find a babysitter, but oh, how do we find that, and so on, and we cannot be out that long because we need to get back to our kid, and all these struggles. You don't really have that because just take the kid with you, so you kind of never are in the use of a babysitter anyway. And that's where Denmark is very different, because in Denmark, many people don't get kids nowadays. Like it become more and more normal to not get kids. And I think that's a thing going on in every country in the world, but Denmark are one that is worse right now, I think, than most other countries. And it's mainly because that kids are a burden for you if you're young and want to live your life. Like you can't really live your life with kids. I think that happens a lot in Denmark. I have a lot of friends that got kids recently and are about to get kids and so on. Everything is happening right now in my life and my friends' lives. And the thing that mainly happens is that they become boring when they get kids. Like they will not meet you as often and will not do the same things anymore. And they don't do the same things in their free time as you do, because they think they can't do the things you do anymore. So you from one day to another, you become two different persons that don't work together, don't fit together anymore. It's a really big shame. Like we are talking about in Denmark, that you're pretty much losing your friends when they get kids. It often ends up with you losing your friends, because you can pretty much not be friends anymore because you cannot do the same things, so you will never see each other anyway. So it's a very big deal to get kids in Denmark. It's always a big deal, but in a bad way in many ways. I'm not saying it's bad, that there are good things too, that's why people get kids. But it comes with many bad things too here in Denmark. Where I think that in Spain it's very different. It's kind of the same, like you get your kids, and then like a month later or so, you get used to it. You are out again at the cafe, taking a drink. Of course, they will not drink. They will not be totally drunk when they are out with their kids. Like both parents going out with their kid, both parents getting drunk. That's not what's happening here. But also in Spain, it's not that common to be drunk as it is in Denmark. Like Denmark is drunk every day if you want to do anything with your life. Like where in Spain, it's very normal to not go out and take a single drink, and that you can do with the kid too. And also you often go out in big groups. Maybe you have your parents, your own parents with you too, and maybe they don't drink that much, so they can look after the kids. Like there always a solution. You will find out a way to make it work. Then again, the thing that if you're sitting on a restaurant or a cafe or a bar, like whatever it is, then there is a playground nearby, so you can just let the kids be at the playground. And many people are out, and many people take their kids with them, so the playgrounds are always busy. So there's other kids to play with, but there are also other parents looking after their kids. So everything just works together. The thing that people actually use the space. People use the cities, and therefore it feels safe. And in Denmark, they can often be empty. I so often see empty playgrounds in Denmark, and I nearly never see playgrounds because we don't have a lot of playgrounds. But when I finally found a when I finally find a playground, they are usually empty. So we don't really use the city in the same way as Spaniards do. It's so nice to see the city being used, and the cities are often very chill, and there's a cozy atmosphere to the cities. That's very nice. That kids in Spain, that's something different. They're not a burden. Of course, a little bit, you're more free if you don't have a kid. You have more time if you don't have a kid. But getting a kid in Spain don't stop your life totally, suddenly, from one day to another. I've seen I follow some other guys on YouTube. They're also living in Spain, and they are recording their lifestyle a lot. They're going out in the city every single day. They're going to bars and take a little drink and eating out all the time. And when they got a kid, it was like, and they were home preparing some stuff, getting used to have a kid, finding a new way of life, kind of. But under a month later, they were out again, doing the stuff they usually do. They just have their kid with them. The only difference was that they were 3 instead of 2. They just had their kid in their roller beside them, beside the table, when they were out, and that's pretty much the only difference. Else they do the exact same thing. They record the same views on YouTube. I have the same lifestyle. So that's amazing to see that that's possible, and to see that generation doesn't really matter that much in Spain, and the age doesn't matter that much in Spain. In Denmark, you will never be let into a bar if you are, at least not a teenager. Like some teenagers will not be asked for ID because they maybe look old, or maybe they kind of don't care. But a kid will never be let into a bar in Denmark. Kids are so much not allowed. It's even illegal, actually. There's law against kids being allowed in places where strong alcohol are sold. So it's a totally different thing, and that's gonna happen. Also, the bars in Denmark are very closed, in tight, dark spaces, and there are not playground nearby, and you cannot see the streets most of the time. So there's not the same safe feeling about letting your kid run around a lot, because you will not be able to have a look at your kid so much if it runs too far away, because you cannot see that long. You don't have the best view from your place inside the bar. So it's very different. It's the opposite stories, I will say. I cannot, in my wildest fantasy, think about something that's more different than this. There are very different countries in this particular way, at least. So that's what I had to talk about kids this time around. I hope you like to hear about that, and if you did like the video, and subscribe for more videos about Spain. And I want to hear about if you like this way of speaking about Spain, or what can you say, these kind of topics. If you like them, tell me, then there will come more. And if you want something else, tell me what you want. And well, I guess see you next one. Bye bye.